Hey guys, your boy New Year back again with another video. Thank you guys for liking, thank you guys for subscribing, thank you for the comments and everything like that. I'm still deciding on my third what if. I think I said this before and I explained this, that I'm going to be doing 3 what if series right now. As soon as I finish doing this part 2 to prototype, I will be selecting my third. Which one is really kind of honest. I don't know how I feel about this one. What if Deku was a werewolf or a vampire? Because I've seen a lot of people do it like that. So I'm still debating. I'm still debating. Because it may not even be either of them. But I don't know. I honestly don't know. Because one what if series I really want to do for Deku is what if he had Kenichi, the mightiest disciple, training. And if you guys, it is an early 2000s anime. Like I said, I'm very into old school anime, and Kenichi, the mightiest disciple. I feel like, you know what, that's going to be the third one. I'm going to get started on everybody else's suggestions and everything like that, and just put it in. But what if Deku had Kenichi, the mightiest disciple, the the mightiest disciples training? That will definitely be one of my what ifs, and that'll probably be my third what if because for Deku and Kenichi are two of a kind. So I do believe that that would be a great series. So we're gonna start off. What if Deku had Alex Mercer's powers from Prototype Part Two, and we last left off with Deku having a choice, having two choices that All Might left him. On the one hand, he can be a hero and be loved and respected by everybody, or on the other hand, he could stay in his life and stay in solitude and in a way stay hiding. So right now he's in his bedroom. He's just sitting down and he grabbed his guitar and starts playing a song he really likes. And if you guys actually want to hear this, the link will be in the description. It's a great song. And then as he's playing the song, he hears a knock at the door. He goes down, and it's John. And John's just coming to check in on Deku. And, John asks, "How are you doing?" Sounds so stiff. Like, but how are you doing, Deku? And Deku was just like, I'm fine. And just by the tone and how much John knows him, he knows something is wrong. And so John asks, what's wrong? And Deku explains everything that actually happened with All Might and the choice he has to make. John, being a father figure to Deku, really wants him to live his life, and because Deku's had to grow up so fast because of how his life is. And you're talking about a kid who's been working from the point of when he was, what, 9? And now he's 15. And he's been educating himself, and he's been living on his own. He already has he already has a license. I'll say that he already has a license, and it's a motorcycle license. I don't see the point of him having a car, so a motorcycle license. And all around, he's always been good to others, no matter what. But he's always been afraid to show his quirk. So nobody has seen his quirk since he was 9 years old. And during this time, John talks to Deku and explains to him that you care more about your fellow man more than anybody I've ever met. You're being good to people. You protect people, and you do it without even thinking. Deku, I do believe you were meant for much bigger and better things than just working with me at my restaurant. And Deku just says, but I feel safe there. It's been a good it's been a good life just doing that. And if I can keep doing that, then I know I'll always be safe, and I know that no matter what, nobody would judge me for anything than just being a chef and a waiter at the restaurant. And John says, I can run the restaurant by myself. Trust me. You need to live your life. And Deku is just saying that he's just afraid of what others may think of him. And John puts his hand on Deku's shoulder and looks him in the eyes and he says, "Fear is a choice, son." And then he leaves, leaving Deku with a saying that he would always remember for the rest of his life. And on a side note, that fear is a choice. That's actually a saying that I actually live with in my life, and I want you guys to always remember that because I want to look out for you guys too, and I want you guys to always remember that this saying: fear is a choice. Never, you can be afraid and stay how you are, and not let yourself grow, or you can choose to not be afraid and grow as a person and become a better version of you. But anyway, enough of the life lessons. Back to the story. So we skipped it to the next day. It's the morning. All Might's at the beach, and he is waiting for Deku, and he's about to leave, thinking Deku is not going to show up. But Deku runs up to All Might and says, I made my choice." And Deku just smiles and he says, "Okay. Well, for the first step, we need to train. We need to train your body. Even though he's strong now, he hasn't had any really real combat experience. He hasn't. He's trained with his quirk before, yes, but it's not. But he hasn't had like major combat experience. Like he has enough to the point where, as far as hand to hand combat, he's good at. But he's never went against super villains or anything like that. He's always just been by himself. So this 10 months of training is really going to help him out. And right now, roughly, I would say he's around 35 to 40% of All Might's full power. Add the weapons on, that probably jumps about 45% power, because he's a lot stronger with his weapons. So he cleans up the beach in half a day, just literally nothing, and they get the training, and they're sparring and fighting every day, and All Might is just teaching him and educating him on various things about being a hero, whether it's just from doing the simplest of things like picking up trash and litter to saving somebody's life. You know, a hero is meant to be. A hero is much more than somebody who can just save this save people. He's somebody who helps better humanity. And Deku was learning these life lessons, and he kind of seems like in Deku's eyes, he kind of sees All Might like a big brother. Even he that's what he sees John as a father and All Might kind of a big brother now at this point, because now he's had two people in his life that only cared about him, and he sees them like family. And during this time, he actually unlocks the whip power. He can put in, in prototype, it does have spikes and everything on it, but I'm not going to allow him to do that just because he's a hero. So, I don't really want him killing anybody if he doesn't have to. So he unlocks the whip power. His hammer fist and his claws are like how you can upgrade your claws, so they're like grade 2, grade 3 right now. They're getting stronger, and and this is just within the first 5 months. The first 5 months, he's just getting stronger. And at the 5 month mark, All Might had to get checked up at the doctors, for his quirk, because he's pushing himself with Deku every day, because in canon he was more like just he's not going beyond his time limit. He's not doing that. He can only do it 3 hours a day, but he's still training with Deku every single day. But he still has to get his regular checkup. So he's not losing any time. He's not pushing himself because he doesn't want to lose his power just yet. and Deku already knows this, so he's never going to try to really push All Might to the point where he has to use 100% of his power. So they're always fighting with the same level of strength every single day just to better himself. All Might will fight a little bit a little bit of a higher percentage just so Deku can grow. And during this day, since he has the day off, he goes to the music store and he sees this really cool album that he's really interested in, and he's about to grab it, and then somebody else grabs it, and it's a girl, and Deku just says, "Oh, I'm sorry. Did you actually want to check out this album?" And she says, oh no, I actually do apologize. Did you want to check out this album?" And they kind of just chuckle because it's just a silly moment. And after they're done laughing, Deku says, "My name is Izuku," and the girl says, "My name is Kyoka." And I hope I'm saying that right, Kyoka, because in she is actually Jiro. So, but I think that's her first name. So, is that her first name? I'm just called. Let's just say Jiro. He's just Jiro. His name is Izuku. He's Jiro. Remember, Izuku doesn't have a last name because he disowned it. So if anything, it would probably be John's last name. So Izuku, whatever. But he just says, "My name is Izuku," and her name is Jiro, Kyoka Jiro. And they get to talking, and they're really enjoying the music around them, talking about their favorite bands and music and everything like that, and having a great time. They even talk about they're applying to take the entrance exam to UA and everything like that, and they hope to see each other, and they hope they both pass. So skip that. 5 months. 5 months again goes by. So we're now 10 months of training are done. And Izuku, he's just shredded. He's a lot taller than he was. His hair is like you said. His hair is not as like I explained earlier in the part one. His hair, it's not as it's more like I said. I'm gonna just make his hair black because I don't. Maybe he dyed it black. I feel like it'd be better if it was black anyway. He has more of that serious look, like I said. His eyes aren't as wide open. They're more of a serious look, not a scary look, but just you can always sometimes you can't tell if he's being serious or not. But so we get to the exam. He doesn't trip or anything like that. He's not that nervous. He's not that clumsy. The only thing he would ever be nervous about is the acceptance of everybody because he's around so many people with a lot of quirks, and he's worried that if others see his quirk, then they're going to just start not accepting him. And during this time, he does really great during the written test, because one, he's homeschooled for himself. He's taught himself pretty much everything at this point now, and he's had John and All Might help him also with his studies. So he's pretty intelligent. So I say he does very well on the written test, about the same, if not a little bit better. And now it comes to practical, and it's all you hear is 3, 2, 1, go. And Deku just speeds off, destroying all the robots. He's not using any of his weapons right now. Like I said, he's about 50%, maybe 50% of All Might strike right now. And he's just bashing through the robots, and everybody else just looking at him in shock. They're just like, he's so fast, he's so strong. Like, who is this guy? And Deku doesn't really focus on them because right now he has one. He only has one goal in mind: to become a great hero. And he's definitely at this point getting the top score. But it's just crazy. And he actually racks up so many points to the point where doesn't really have to rack up any points anymore, and he sees that he's kind of taking a lot of robots away from other people, so he stops fighting and lets other people get a chance because he's racked up a lot of points. And and then the 0 point robot shows up, and that's when he sees Jiro under a rock, and she's trying to she's stuck under the robot. The she's stuck basically, and Deku doesn't even hesitate. He literally jumps off, uses his hammer fist. He had no intention of doing this. Like I said, he never wanted to use his weapons, but when it comes to saving somebody, he just like Deku in canon, he doesn't. He'll go all the way just to protect somebody. And he smashes the robot into the ground. Uh, the ground, everything around, still fine because he. It's not like it just fell, it just like it did in canon, it. Except he a little bit more force to it, so it didn't fall slow. It immediately hit the ground as soon as Deku punched it. He quickly uses his whip to zoom over to Jiro and gets her out the rubble, picks her up, and asks if she's fine. And Jiro says, "Yeah, we'll be and then we'll be better get you more points then." And him and Jiro start fighting. Yeah, I said that right. Deku and Jiro start fighting the robots together, and he just wants to help her get more points. She already scored enough to get in, but he just trying to help out. And they had a little bit more time at this very moment. They had about a minute, and there was still quite a bit of robots left, and it was pretty good. So after this, Jiro thanks Deku again and hope they both passed. And Deku's just at his home and he's just hoping that he passed. Like he doesn't know 100% for sure. Like he can say to himself he did fairly well, but he doesn't know 100%. So that happens, and he gets the note. He passed class 1A. He walks in to the class 1A. Everybody's staring at him because he had ended up getting the top score. And he starts to feel a little cautious because, or like a little cautious, a little intimidated. It's because everybody's staring at him. He doesn't know how to feel about that because, only time everybody stared at him was when they judged him. And, he's kind of feeling judgment right now, which technically he is. It's just not in the way he's used to. And then Jiro taps him on the shoulder and, says, "Hey to Deku." And, after this point, Deku calms down because he's just like, well, Jiro's here. And, this class should be interesting. Aizawa walks in and tells the class that enough, I'm trying to figure out the word, enough conversation, whatever, I'll say that. And enough conversation. Come outside, put your clothes on. We're gonna go outside and test your abilities. This is when Ida and Momo get up and say, "Are we gonna go to orientation?" Like, no, there's no point in that. You come here to be heroes, and now I need to see what you're made of. And if any one of you get last place on this exam, I'll expel you. Momo says, you can't do that. Like, and I was just like, I've expelled whole classes before. I'm not playing. Get outside or get expelled. Is your choice. So they get outside. They change clothes. Already in the locker room. The guys are a little bit intimidated to Deku because, like I said, he's a little taller. He's shredded. So he's probably about as tall as Ida probably right now, and he's a lot more shredded than anybody else in the class. And it gets down to where they use the ball throw, and Aizawa grabs Bakugo. Give in mind, remember guys, he's been homeschooled. He doesn't even know who Bakugo is. All he knows is that all Bakugo knows now is that Bakugo is intimidated by Deku because he's trying to be the number one hero, and with Deku just getting the number one spot, now he's just really intimidated, and he throws the ball as hard as he can, even really harder than before because now he has a challenge. So I would say he got around 800 meters this time. So I think that's what 50 points higher. I'm not sure. It was around the 700. So I'm gonna say, but I will say 800. So it's a lot farther than it was. And Bakugo turns around and says, "Beat that, losers." And all the other tests go through. Deku gets highest on the strength test. Like I said, 50% of All Might's power. And if he uses the Hammer Fist, he probably would just obliterate the machine, which he technically already kind of did. But he's not using all his power on it. He's just making sure he gets the highest scores in every other thing. So he kills the side jumps, the speed test. Give in mind, like I said, he is phenomenally fast right now. This Alex Mercer literally is so fast that he crosses a city in seconds. In seconds. So something like a 10 meter, and he literally just took a large step, and I think it was only 2 steps just to get there, and he was just there in 0.0001 seconds. So nobody was touching him when it came to speed, and he gets number one in all of them. This really upsets Bakugo because he's just like, wow, this guy is he's just like really intimidated because he wants to be the best, and he knows with Deku being there, he's just nowhere near being the best. And then comes the ball throw, and Uraraka still wins with Infinity, and Deku is in second. Deku is in second place, and he launches the ball, across the city. So then we get to the hero versus villain side of this, and it's Deku and Jiro versus Ida and Bakugo, and then Deku isn't really worried about this. He's just he sees the mission, and but he's also enjoying being teamed up with Jiro, and Jiro uses her quirk to find exactly where they are and where the bomb is, and Jiro tells Deku that Bakugo is coming right for him, and training with All Might all this time, he's kind of a tactician now at this point. He's a Deku that's calm, figures things out, and is a powerhouse. So he's a strategist, and also with a guy who has a lot of strength. So seeing this, he's asked Jiro, where exactly is he coming from? And Jiro says he's literally about to blast his way through the wall right now. So, this is when Deku starts feeling the wall, and he feels Deku, sorry, Bakugo coming, and all he does is just wait for him to get just a second closer. And while Bakugo's on the other side of the wall, he's about to blast through it. Deku literally just punches through the wall straight into Bakugo's gut, knocking him in to the wall behind him and knocking him out cold. Jiro is just surprised at this, and and then Deku was just like, "Come on, come on, we gotta go." And Deku and Jiro go up and they find the bomb. They see Ida, and Ida's just like, he's just playing the character like, "I will not let you pass, heroes." And Deku just tells Jiro, just stay right there for a second. And then Deku starts walking up, just walking to Ida. and he has this very serious look in his eyes, and his eyes start, kind of. If you seen Prototype 2, where Alex has those very red eyes. That's what you see right now. Alex's eyes turn red. Right, it's just an intimidation technique, and he literally is just walking up to Ida, and Ida is just backing up. He is terrified. He's afraid. He's never had to deal with somebody that powerful in a fight who looks like he's about to kill him. But it's just an intimidation technique. That's all it is. And he just keeps walking up until Ida's back into a wall. Ida doesn't even recognize his surroundings now at this point. So, and then Deku just smiles and just puts his hand on the bomb because he was there. He was literally right there. And Ida was just like, I can't believe I fell for that. And Deku just laughs. And heroes win. So I'm going to leave it right here, guys. Tell me, guys, how you like this video. Subscribe, comment in there, please. And I'll see you guys later. You're out.